In this week's episode, we are going to look in detail at one of the newest scams that's out there for retirees. It's got a crazy name. It's called pig butchering. Going to explain what that is and what you can do to make sure you don't fall victim to this scam. Let's roll.
Welcome to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, certified financial fiduciary, Tim Wood. Tim is a retirement and income planning expert, best-selling author of Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, member of the exclusive Ed Slott Master Elite IRA Advisor Group, and founder of SafeMoneyRetirement.com. Tim uses an education-first approach with clients nationwide to ensure they understand their choices in planning their own safe money retirement. Tim focuses on wealth management, retirement income, tax and long-term care planning, and asset protection and growth strategies. And now, from the Safe Money Retirement Studio in Johnson City, Tennessee, your host, Tim Wood.
I have been a member of Ed Slott's Master Elite IRA Advisor Group for several years now. One of the main reasons that I'm a part of that group, other than the fact that I'm plugged in and can get answers to pretty much any question, is to find out about the newest things going on in Washington and also to find about the newest security concerns and scams that are out there and what I can help people understand so they don't fall victim to it. So we're going to talk about one that I just learned about at the most recent Ed Slott event I was at called pig butchering. Going to explain what it is, what that means. It's kind of a gross term, but you'll understand when I explain what it is. First, if you don't already have a copy of my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, get your own copy. Once you're in the type of plans I'm talking about, this scam that I'm about to explain isn't even anything you need to be concerned about. You can get your free copy right on our website, SafeMoneyRetirement.com, or call us anytime, 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Okay, pig butchering. It is a metaphorical term, and it's basically used to describe a specific type of investment scam. Now, here's how it works generally. The first part of it is what they call grooming the pig. So what happens is the scam starts with the scammer actually developing a relationship with whoever the victim is going to be. And unfortunately, usually it is someone getting close to retirement or even in retirement. Could be through social media, could be through a dating app, could be through some other online platform or application or whatever, but they develop a relationship in one way or another, and the scammer actually will invest time to help build trust, and they often masquerade as a potential romantic partner or a friendly acquaintance. And unfortunately, I see this happens a lot with people that unfortunately have either been divorced or have lost their spouse and they're lonely. Well, someone will find that, they will find you on social media, and then they will pretend to be a potential romantic partner. Or maybe that's not it. Maybe someone just really needs a friend, and someone comes in and acts like a friend, and this relationship starts developing. So that's what the scammer does. That's the very first part, is they start developing a relationship with the victim, so the victim starts feeling like they can trust them. And then the second phase of this is what's called feeding the pig. So feeding the pig is essentially, once that trust is established, the scammer then starts to introduce the concept of an investment opportunity. So whether it's been a few days, a few weeks, heck, maybe even a few months, they've developed this relationship with this retiree. Like I said, unfortunately, a lot of times it's someone that needs a friend that may be depressed, or someone that lost their spouse, or something like that. And all of a sudden they start saying, hey, we've been talking forever. I just found this really cool investment opportunity. Now, it could be cryptocurrency, it could be stocks, foreign exchange. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be any kind of financial instrument. The scammer might even demonstrate the ease of making money by showing their own successful investments, but they're fake. They're not their own successful investments. They basically doctored some documents to make it look like they made a lot of money. In other words, You know, I work with you and we become friends. I work on you, I should say, and we become friends. And then I say, hey, I've got this really great investment opportunity. Look at how great it did for me. And if it really had done that great, that would be one thing. But in many, many, many cases, it's completely fake. And then once that is put together, and once that's actually going, I should say, the last step is what's called fattening the pig. So that is when the victim is actually encouraged to invest a small amount initially. So let's, let me show you. This is a great thing. Go ahead and jump in with just a little bit, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, depending on how much your assets are, but a relatively small amount. And when this initial investment shows a high return, which is completely fabricated by the scammer. In other words, the scammer is coming up with their own documents and totally creating this out of thin air. The victim gains confidence in the investment opportunity, thinks it's a great thing. Oh my goodness, I already made such and such. Well, you actually didn't make anything. Then the scammer persuades the victim to invest more money and more money and more money, basically including sometimes even their savings. And there's even stories of people borrowing money to put into these things. So long story short, that's what this pig butchering scam is. Someone will develop trust with you, however they do it. Like I said, it can be over social media. A lot of times these days it's over social media, can be over whatever, any type of social media app, dating app, whatever, but they develop a relationship with you. Then they come back and start saying after a while, after they've developed the relationship, hey, I've got this investment thing. It's doing pretty good for me. Do you want to look at it? And then they show you, but you don't actually, take the time to really research and make sure what they're showing you is legitimate. You just assume that's good. Well, let me put a little bit in. So they take a little bit of the money and put it into whatever that investment is, which is really their pocket. Then they fabricate another document to make it look like you're making a lot of money, and they show you that. Oh my goodness, look at what you made just on 10,000. Imagine if you'd put 100,000 in there. And that happens. And it just keeps going and going until they've bled someone pretty much dry. And then that someone realizes there was nothing there at all. So make sure you don't fall victim to this kind of a scheme. Make sure someone doesn't talk you into sending you their money. One thing that you need to really understand is moving money from a 401k or an IRA or a TSP or any of these things, that money should be going directly to another company. You shouldn't be sending it to anybody. You should be sending it to another company. So for example, if you are putting money with company A and the money right now is over here, say in your TSP account, TSP will be sending the money to company A. So you want to make sure that you're not being talked into sending an individual some money because they're going to do this great investment for you, because that's what's going on right now. People are developing trust and getting people to invest. And I mean, and this is like millions and millions and millions of dollars that are just being completely wiped out because people are getting talked into and they're fabricating the result, and they just keep putting more and more in thinking this is fantastic. But then when you get to the end and there's no more to put in, all of a sudden the person goes away, the money's gone, poof. That's it. Make sure you don't fall victim to this type of a plan, to this type of a scheme. Make sure you are with a certified financial fiduciary that's going to have your best interest at heart. Make sure the money always goes to a company and not an individual. And make sure that you protect yourself from all of the scams out there. Do you ever get tired of the constant roller coaster of the stock market? Are you worried about your retirement and making sure it's still going to be there? I mean, you worked 30, 40, 50 years to get it. You want to make sure it's still there. Well, what if I told you you could guarantee that you don't have to worry about market losses ever again? What if I told you you could guarantee income for you and your spouse for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live? It's possible, and I can show you how in my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success. In today's case file, we're going to look at the story of Gene and Lucy. Now, Gene and Lucy came in, they had a unique situation. They already had plenty of income. They had no concerns about income, plenty of income. What they were looking for was a specific laddered approach to guaranteed fixed annuities. So let me explain what we did with them. They wanted a ladder. So basically they wanted some money that they could put in that was going to grow at a set amount and come due in 3 years. And then some that was going to grow at a set amount and come due in 5 years. Some that was going to grow at a set amount and come due in 7 years. And some that was going to grow at a set amount and come due in 10 years. So we actually did 4 separate plans for them. Being completely independent, we're able to search and find whatever the best rates are for each individual term, 3, 5, 7, 10 years. We can look at every A-rated company in your state that's in the independent marketplace and find what's going to be the best rate for each one of those individual terms. Very much like a CD, there are some benefits to these plans. You don't have to pay the taxes every year, so you get true compounded growth. The taxes defer all the way to the end. But for the most part, they work very much like a CD, but typically we can get higher rates than CDs can at banks. So what we did was we exactly did that for them. We got them 4 separate plans, and what they did was they dropped in $100,000 in each plan. So they've already got enough income, and then they know in 3 years they're going to have $100,000 come due that we are going to do something else with. And then in 5 years, another $100,000 is going to come due. 7 years, another 100, 10 years, another 100. And then of course, when those come due, we'll do something else with that money. Now, the only concern with doing this kind of plan, and of course I had a long discussion with them about this, is what's called reinvestment risk. In other words, when you do these type of plans and they're going to have a set end date, there's a term, you have to worry about what are the rates going to be at the end of 3 years or 5 years or 7 years or 10 years, because now we got to do something else with that money at whatever the rates are at that time. They weren't concerned about that. This was something that they had planned for a long time, and they had specific trips they were going to do on those years. I mean, they had reasons they were doing this. So it worked out great. They left super happy, really high rates, guaranteed, locked in, don't have to worry about it. And then we'll just get to back together with them when those come due to figure out what they're going to do with the money at that time. So that's what we did, and they left super happy. Now, how can this work for you? You may have a similar situation where you may want a laddered plan. You may say, well, or you may just want to put something for a certain number of years. We can do that. You can come to me and say, Tim, what is the absolute highest rate I can make for my money for 5 years? We can search and find that. Or you can say, I want to put some in for 3, some for 5, some for 7, just like they did. We can set it up however you want. And if we do an actual, just a plain fixed annuity, like I said, it works very similar to a CD in that you're going to get a set guaranteed fixed rate for a set guaranteed amount of time with no fees, with no chances of losses. And in many cases, a lot of these plans, actually these days, a lot of them allow you to take withdrawals from them if you want to. And there's some of them that you can actually set up to where you can withdraw the interest every single month. And essentially it's like paying you an income. So you could drop in, let's just say $100,000 into a plan, and let's just use simple math. Let's just say it's making 5%, then you would make $5,000 a year. Well, you could split that, divide it by 12, take that amount every single month, and then at the end, you wouldn't have any taxes due because you took out all the growth and paid the taxes as it went, and you'd still have your $100,000. I've got clients that do that, and they fund their retirement that way. Now, again, the only scary thing by doing that is the reinvestment risk, because there's going to come a day where we got to do something else with that money at the end of the term. And if the rates have gone way back down, we'll have to look at that time and see what we're going to do. But it can be a great plan, and it's a very secure plan for a lot of people. And it could be a really good plan to help you plan your own safe money retirement. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market loss. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to the Safe Money Retirement Show with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your income in retirement is guaranteed lifetime income and not if-come. Avoid any future market losses, plan for the potential of long-term care, and make wise tax planning choices so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call us now for your free copy of Tim's best-selling book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success. Call 833-413-SAFE. That's 833-413-7233. Or log on to our site at safemoneyretirement.com for more information or to request your free book. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you online at safemoneyretirement.com. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Obviously, by contacting us now, you are only taking the first step toward protecting your retirement. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified licensed insurance professional. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Interest and other guarantees in annuity contracts are subject to the claims-paying ability of the insurance carrier that issued the contract. The tax consequences of annuity income should be considered with the help of a licensed tax professional. Rates and returns mentioned on this program may vary based on state availability and are subject to change without notice.